And this is the final of the battles in the Hoplite series. Mantinea. Thebes has extended their hegemony over most of the Peloponnesus at this point. And Sparta and Athens, the old guard, actually ally together here in order to fight against the Thebans. Athens has their particular gripes into how Thebes suggested that they be ended, but also both do not like the amount of power that the Thebans have here. We again have the monster unit and the same commander here, who I cannot remember the name of. I'll take a quick look here. Epaminondas, which, of course, if you're a classic scholar, I'm sure is right on the tip of your tongue, but for me, this is, a little outside of my. There's very few places where you'll go to school and learn about the classic Greek battles any longer. I'm sure there was once upon a time, but now, unless that's really your field of study or your field of specific interest in terms of hobby, I suspect you won't get a whole lot about these battles. Unlike, say, the big, battles of the Roman time. I remember taking history classes where Roman history really kind of focused on those. The classes I've taken on from classics that or audited that covered maybe this era at all focused more on cultural type issues than on the political and military issues, which I find kind of strange, except maybe we don't know as much. Once upon a time, we knew more about the political and military aspects, and now, because of archaeology, we know more about the day-to-day life, and we don't really know how much to trust the classical documents that have, a paragraph on one of these battles or something as to what's going on. So, in some ways, playing a game like this is opening some interest in my mind about something that I don't know much about. Anyway, so don't take my historical analysis as being worth a damn in any of these. Not that you should in anything, but my first thought here. This is a situation. There's two scenarios covering this battle. The first one is the one I've set up here. Now, the image differs from the deployment from the Spartans ever so slightly. This unit is back a little further where it would have to cross. This is all considered rough terrain, the woods and the rocky stuff. And rough terrain is nasty in this system. If you take a look, see if we can find a terrain effects chart. I don't remember quite where it is. I've gotten so used to playing on an empty field, right? I don't know where rough is covered. There's clear rough, which has, I guess, a differentiation between clear and rough if you're changing facing. But rough is somewhere in here, isn't it? Rocky is here. I'm assuming that counts for the rocky stuff, and woods is also covered. And both of them have some hits. For Cav, even we have some here. So I don't really want to be tucked away that way. And then, yeah, this one shows the same deployment. This shows a later deployment after the Thebans have marched forward. Now, personally, I always enjoy approach battles more. The more distance you give me, the happier I am, even if it means, I have a couple turns of pushing pieces with nothing happening. And you can see the Thebans eventually align themselves into sort of an echelon with what amounts to light infantry skirmishers and light cav up moving ahead on the two flanks. with actually the Spartans staying where they are. Which makes more sense. It's hard to tell because the Spartans had settled down for lunch thinking that the Thebans weren't going to attack. And so giving them some advance might make sense. But on the other hand, there's some defensive benefit to this terrain. First of all, I've got nice ridge lines, well defined, that prevent me from getting outflanked. Of course, the edge of the map does the same thing, and the ridges probably extend not far out there, so there's probably a good deal of anchoring going on no matter where I am. But I've got this woods line behind me, and that's very interesting because it means that these big phalanx units are going to have a hard time rounding a flank on the position I'm in, because then they'd have to march through the woods as they outflank me or try to get behind me. So that's kind of appealing. On the other hand, first strike is nice. And also digging my units out of the woods if they rout and I can rally them might make life really difficult. So there's mixed feelings in either direction there. The thing I was thinking at first was, hey, why don't I use the shield wall rolls? Yeah, shield wall doesn't do a lot of good against enemy hoplites. I still am defensively a hoplite, but I don't get defense superior against them like I would against some of the like heavy infantry or something. I think it's heavy infantry heavy and mediums, I think, that I get it against. And then further bonuses against lighter units that I don't really need. So I'm a little torn as to how I'm going to deal with this as the Spartans, and whether or not I'm going to follow this kind of echelon formation, and whether I can. As the rules as they're written, I probably can't, but I kind of like to fudge in from the other scenarios that, hey, I can stop, 6 hexes away or closer, and not have to continue my charge throughout the whole territory. For the terrain itself, the roads and these streams mean nothing, and that'll be hard for me to remember, but they're on there. These are basically dry stream beds at this point. Route points are both 65 for each army. And of course the big thing costs more route points than normal. I don't know if the leaders... No special rules on the leaders there. We have some leaderless contingents here and here. These, the infantry, the cavalry, each have leaders on each wing. They operate as a single formation, but with 2 leaders. And the infantry skirmishers operate as a leaderless formation. A lot of this kind of, hey, we don't have a leader for this. Okay, we don't really need one. We can pretend there's people in charge who, it doesn't matter if they get killed or whatever. I am willing to buy into that. Thebes has the initiative, so I'll throw all the Spartans in the cup and try to figure out what I want to do first with Thebes. Maybe I should have just started off with the set piece battle, because I'm tempted to try out the echelons, see how it works. I'm a little confused as to what I should really do with the light infantry on the flanks. They feel like a dangerous thing to engage with too heavily. The Spartans are holding theirs back. I don't really want to push them forward. So I want to entice the Theban lights forward so I can smash them if need be. If I'm going to go forward with this... See, I got good units up here. My units is so good, I don't know if I want to echelon. I mean, this unit just kicks so much ass that I kind of like the idea. I just wish I had my other good units up here. My other weight was back near that one. Got a decent unit here. Sicyon. Oh well. We'll keep going. Anyway, that's the end of the first turn. Sparta doesn't want to move at all. They want to launch their hoplites as the Thebans come into view. Now, the problem is, if I do end up with this echelon, I don't want to launch them all, and they'll get kind of maybe fatigued smashing into those lights or whatever. But on the other hand, they can destroy the lights and get some easy points that way. And that's kind of that's the dichotomy you have to face here, is do you want to look at getting some easy points in exchange for wearing out your hoplite units a little bit. There's a lot of points on the field overall, but the hoplites are where the battle is at. So over here on this flank, move the infantry forward. I moved it forward on both flanks for the Thebans. And then the light cav engaged one unit to chase off one skirmisher, but they took a couple of hits from the fire coming in. Here it's less easy for me. The skirmishers, there's less skirmishers and as much light infantry. It's tighter quarters, so I don't really have an easy shot at just the skirmishers. Like, I can't pick one off like I did here, even though I took 2 shots for it, and I'd take 2 shots for this one. And if I slam here, I have to hit the light infantry. That's no good. The light cav is not particularly good at against light infantry. It's not bad, but it's just not, it's not competent. And I'm kind of hoping maybe I'll plow some of those light infantry out of the way with the hoplites, even things up a little bit, and then clear the rest off. I can't just let the Thebans move their skirmishers up. They'd outshoot me here. I have no skirmishers here, and then over here I'm outnumbered, so it seemed like I have to drive them off. And the fight begins. Spartans couldn't stand back. They ran and chased off these light infantry. That was my plan, so the light cav could run up. I failed my momentum check for the light cav to move forward, but that's fine. I'll get their shit again. But I got myself in range, unfortunately, as I'm chasing these guys. And these guys are pretty tired and scared at this point. But they've done their job. They can go cower now. That brought them in range for the big Theban hoplite mass to smack into this unit and do quite a bit of damage to it. Now this is engaged. These guys were all within 6 hexes of that. I'm house ruling this based on some of the other scenarios. I'm just saying, you know, it doesn't make sense that I have to charge this whole line if I move any of it. I'd never end up with this formation in that case. So I'm allowing myself to maneuver them at will until they're within 6 hexes of an enemy, at which point, if I want to start an advance in that range, I have to make the roll, and I then have to keep moving. I've started the charge, and that fits one of the other scenarios. Anyway, now we've got this lock-in, but here's what's kind of cool. These guys have to come forward. Well, this guy could come in and do an outflank, but they have to come towards the enemy. So we might start seeing kind of a ragtag entry into the battle. Okay, Theban moved their hoplites, and they moved all of these just an inch forward, one space basically. An inch. This isn't a mini scheme. What? It's less than an inch. That's probably not wise, because it means I can't use them for momentum without risking something. But this was exactly where I want to be, because 1, 2, 3, 4. It means that these hoplites have to stay where they are, especially this one, which will have no chance of charging forward. But for the most part, it's keeping most of his line back, or else giving me the advantage, at least in the center. Over here, though, we are moving forward, and the Spartans probably want to hit that. They also quite possibly want to hit this unit, which is now turned to flank to hit that. This hoplite phalanx did not break under all that pressure. Theban cav didn't have anywhere to go. Nothing got out of its way. The same thing happens in the old GBOH system, where you have, you know, a good leader in charge of the cav, but or in charge of a unit, and it's stuck behind a lesser leader. Quite often the skirmishers have a crap leader, and they're all in your way. And then the Spartan cav and skirmishers. The cav charged forward here, chased off the Theban skirmishers, and then over here well, the remaining, sorry about that, I can't control this thing. The remaining cav smacked this skirmisher away, but then got hit with some slings and turned around and ran. And then some harassing fire over here. Some tough calls on the light infantry skirmisher marker over here. I could either rally these guys or try to attack the cav. Instead, what I did was I R&R'd these guys. I don't remember what the correct terms are. You certainly rally routed units, but I don't recovery. Over here, skirmishers traded fire, and we got routes on both sides from fire. And then the light infantry moved up, routed the other one, destroyed one, the light cav that went chasing out of there. That's worth more points. So one of the reasons not to try to rally these is, one, they're probably not going to do it. They're crap units. And two, they're not worth a lot of points. They're worth a point each because they're just skirmishers. And that's kind of, I'm letting the skirmishers run. This has allowed the light infantry to get up to range to the light cav. And that could cause some problems, but the cav can try to slip away because it has been triggered already. So yeah, it'll come out of the random draw of the cup as to who gets the advantage there. But the hoplites get a shot first, and boom, they're going to go crashing into those lights and try to drive them back, I believe. Spartan hoplites came up next, and I chose to withhold most of them. Busted up the light infantry. I made sure to get them off my calves, so now I can use my cav to hunt down routers and eventually run into this cav line here. But the way it's set up right now, I get some points before we start fighting. Over here, I launched another hoplite, a couple more hoplites off the right flank to smack into these. And this guy somehow just stood there. He had +3 on his die roll, but he's got a 7 quality, so he got a fair chance of standing against it all. Let's see, what's their next draw? There aren't many left. Next one's a Theban momentum. What would I want to do with that? Another rally attempt with these might be nice, but that'll force a fight, an attack here. I don't feel like my cav's open. I don't really want to launch the hoplites into another round of combat. I don't see too much advantage to that, so I guess this is the best I'll go for. He's, I don't remember which way the momentum roll goes. We'll see if I roll a 0. Okay, so I got a successful roll for the commander. Let's see which way it goes. I'm always having to look this up when I have it, and the leaders here are good enough. We got 4s for the overall commanders in both cases, that it's usually not just a moot point. I actually have to look it up. And yeah, I'm sure you all know it if you've been watching any of these. Initiative, where's the momentum marker? Okay, so it's going to be using his 0 rating for that commander, so there's not going to be a momentum there. And I think the only other thing remaining is the hoplite momentum counter, which he doesn't terribly want to use. He does want to keep moving, though. He wants this unit under command, because right now it doesn't have, it's not going to be able to attack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might as well get close to those, but yeah, I can't do any follow-ups. And that's the end of the turn, other than routing some units off the board, basically. Okay, opened up with no initiative this time. Thieves got momentum to begin with, and then the light skirmishers, light infantry and the skirmishers. They actually used the momentum for the light infantry and skirmishers successfully by killing off a couple of their routed units, attacking here and having their light infantry run away. Some slinging that didn't work, but these light infantry chased off the Spartan light cav, which is of some value, I suppose. They also recovered a little bit off those units. light cav over here chases away the last of the skirmishers, but we still got a whole line of cav to face here. Now, over on this side, this is scary because this is the J.A. Jones scenario. Light infantry, I can't touch it. I got the light cav, I can't run around, I can't do anything to it. Now, I think he's not correct, but I think it fits in this circumstance and in certain other eras very well. And where it doesn't fit is, say, skirmishers in Napoleonic era, where they just get brushed aside. They're not really formed light infantry, though. And we see the skirmishers here getting brushed aside. Formed lights, how well can they hold up against cav? I don't think they can really manage to deflect a cav charge. The cav charge in the musket and pike era, bunch of games down there of different types for it, but those like light cav, pistol armed, etc., they can't do much. The cav is very powerful if it can launch a charge the way the Swedes do, but the carousel is not that impressive. So, you know, there's the firepower of the infantry is heavier. Now, obviously, when you get to other eras, like the armored knights against light infantry, well, the light infantry can still dodge. They have significant mobility against them, but they don't have much advantage against, say, your horse archers in the Mongol era. So, the simple matrix that he puts forward doesn't work for me, but it is showing its, one of his sort of static points is this classical light cav versus classical light infantry. And you can see here where the light infantry can hold off the cav, essentially. The Spartans use a hoplite pick, recover this guy, and conduct the attacks here. And you can see I chased off the two hoplite units that are the little guys. The big one, though, finally broke my right flank, and these are none too strong. But yeah, I'm going to start seeing some points fall off the map if there can't be a rally. Thebes might do a rally action to try to recover those. Let's see, well, they'd better. Sparta's going to have to rely on their momentum, and they won't be able to get him in range to be able to do it unless I had known beforehand and I left him here to keep command over this. So that's not going to happen. Thebans get one successful rally and one failure. Over here, 12 points off their points. But then they launched another hoplite into play here to hit this. They sent the big boy in because they did a rally attempt. They couldn't do a recovery. Had this guy up to 9 points, but those things are just so sturdy. And it didn't go away. Over here, I moved everything over here forward a little bit, just to get myself closer and closer into position. Try to tempt, but we're kind of seeing one unit at a time commit, which is kind of neat. It means the whole thing's not over like that, the way the last one was. And Theban Cav drove away. I think there's an Athenian cav down here, yeah. And punched that aside, getting 2-to-1 odds on it. Took care of the routes off the board. Right now, our points are at, 46 for Sparta and 50 for Thebes. It's still a pretty close battle. Rallying this unit was huge. That's another 12 points that would have been off for Thebes. So you can see we're within that margin of error anyway. Opens things up with the initiative for their hoplites. Still not breaking this, and their unit is starting to get close. They're going to have to start making checks soon. Although, probably not, because they're rolling on the 13 table against that thing alone. Over here, recovered this one. Going to be able to swing it in to help, perhaps. This one broke the Spartan phalanx opposite it, but now the Spartans can charge another one into play. and break them. It's an interesting tit for tat type play, which makes sense with this unit. This unit is so potent that it should be able to destroy whatever it faces, but it's having some trouble here, we see. The Spartan Cav does wonders. First of all, driving off the other light Cav here. Nothing too amazing about that. We're going to get knocked out because we're outnumbered and there's a leader and all kind of crap there. But this one slammed into the flank of this phalanx, but it was an almost dead phalanx. Now, my hope was make its tactical quality check. It routes. I never have to actually fight it. No, it stood. But we managed to drive it off anyway. We're not in great shape now, but that was impressive. And no, there's no doubled losses for the phalanx or anything like that, remember. This just was so damaged that it managed to go over the route level, and then it failed its check. And unless a momentum saves it, it's running from the field, and that's a decent amount of points going. The Theban Cav takes its revenge on the rest of the Spartan Cav, not the one that was heroic. We have engaged units all over here. Nothing too shocking there. Light infantry skirmishers. This light infantry decides, hey, I want to be a hero too, and charges it at a routed phalanx. Well, the routed phalanx made its morale check. Not a very likely thing, or its tactical quality check. Not a very likely thing, 0 or 1. But that meant it had to fight. It got destroyed, but did a lot of damage to the light infantry in the process, which maybe kind of sucks. And then a lot of routed units leaving the board from both sides. You can see the field's a lot clearer now. Couple of Hoplite units left. Right now we're at 26 for the Thebians and 12 for the Spartans. That's one Hoplite phalanx and it's over there. But this goes. Yeah, that's not going to be attacking. It's pretty damn safe. Unless the light Cav charges it. Ooh. So we got an interesting possibility of this game going into the Spartans' hands in a really dramatic fashion. Decision there, as I turn off the camera for about a half a second, is right here. It's these dice. That's all there is. If the Spartans win that, they get a shot at trying to hit that thing. And it looks like they do. So we're going to activate our Cav and take a shot at breaking the Theban line. Right there. Let's see what we got. All of our other Cav is engaged. I can't do anything with it. So this one, boom, 2, 3, 4, right in front of another phalanx. Yeah, that's bad. I don't have to check tactical quality on this. I do on this. Oh, it can't fail. That doesn't sound like a good idea then. See if I can figure out something else. I activated the Cav anyway, so I could recover this. Actually, I don't know if I can. Yeah, there's a leaderless command, I guess. We had mixed results here. I need a route marker for this guy. He ran away. With routes in 2 places, but a success here. But that 10 points, that's almost it. Is there anything else? Yeah, this light Cav could go. I mean, otherwise it's the first phalanx Hoplite that goes, and we don't know. Let's see what the next one is, because we're right down to the wire here. Could probably play this all out. Spartan momentum. What do I want to do? Do I want to try to do a double turn to move forward? Because here's the thing. If I don't crack these guys, and I'm not going to crack them, but if I don't, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, I'm not going to get to that. Could bust up this Cav, though, or at least send it running. Not much help to that. And the only thing I can use the momentum on is within range. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not going to reach any of that crap. Saga. Yeah, I don't know what to do with my momentum. I mean, I can try to recover this unit. I could try to kill the leader Well, let's roll and see if we get it and figure out where to apply it if we do. We don't get it, so it's no big deal. Theoretically, you have to declare it before you roll it, but this is the only guy who can activate it. Actually, no. If I was doing it for these guys, I needed to roll a 0. Oh well. Light infantry, so I couldn't declare it. I did have to declare it beforehand. Light infantry or skirmishers. There aren't a lot of them left. I could chase this out of the way. That might be useful. I don't know. We'll see. We did, but the terrain was too rough. This guy would have probably routed. In fact, he would have guaranteed a rout if he could have run far enough, but he couldn't run. Yeah, he could have run far enough, but he would have routed if he had. So he turned and faced the light infantry and routed anyway, and you can see they're still in contact. Just because of the rough terrain, I can't get through it. And Thebans have a lot of counters in here, and they don't really need to use them. How about a momentum check? We'll roll. We don't get it, so nobody's going to trump that. Spartan Hoplites. Battle's over if I don't hit things. Should have taken the momentum to hit things. All right, and I'm out of place to hit this. Oh crap, I didn't move him. I didn't move my leader. I guess we launched the attack, but it's not going to do anything. A bunch of the Spartans decided to run, and one of them came in contact, almost did it, drove him to where he had to make a check. He hit 6 quality hits, but he recovered from it, and I don't think there's much left. Theban Cav, and we got the Hoplites left, so well, we're going to have to fight another round there. I'm not sure what the Theban Cav is up to. I don't really need to press against these, so... Do I have a leader for this shit? Or a couple of leaders? I got a couple of leaders. Okay. Is this Cav? Guess we're doing a rally action. Try to save that unit. On that wing. I'm not sure if that's what we're doing on this wing. No, that's not going to do. There's 5 more points. And we'll throw him over with one of these. I don't really want to attack. These guys are kind of weak. These guys over here, I think they count as a separate wing, essentially. So I'm going to just do a recovery with them. Get a couple quick ones. And before I put this away, it's just about over, and this is the last battle in the series, I have to remember about a third of the loss counters, except for these 2 monster ones, have to go back in Chandragupta, which I still haven't gotten around to. I've had that for quite a while. I wanted to play it. It's not what I'm doing next, I'll tell you that. And then we get the Theban Hoplites. Well, no guts, no glory, right? Let's hit with everything. Well, not everything. This is going to do a recovery action to get 2 back. Actually, these guys may not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, my line works. Okay. I'll recover this guy too, just because I like to do that. But we'll launch attacks with the rest of them. This could actually lose me the game, but I like doing things. I don't think it could have lost it. It's just these were all too healthy to fall apart. There should be engaged markers on just about everything here, except right here. This guy routed, which means that's 12. And I think we had the points elsewhere as well. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's gone. So now we're at 24. This isn't gone probably. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These guys do have to run though, and they're getting off the map for 6 more. So we lost 6 here and 24 here. Obviously the Spartans were destroyed. And a hoplite army like this is just going to pretty much vaporize. There's no way to get that crap out of there. All right, well, I kind of enjoyed this one more than most of them, probably because I tried to do the staggered approach to it. And I'm kind of forgetting, you know, when I start saying, well, geez, hoplite battles aren't that interesting, it's not entirely true. Not everything in here was hoplite. There's the interplay of the Persian versus the hoplite system. The problem, of course, is that the hoplites just kick ass wherever they show up if they're not facing hoplites. So that there are interesting things, though, that you can do with the Persians, and I kind of find them the more intriguing side to play, to try to trace out a chance for the Greek armies to be destroyed that way. I'll come back with a review in a little bit. You probably heard most of what I have to say over the course of things. It's going to take me a while, though, because I got to sort these damn counters, especially the numeric ones.